want to record my story, I suppose, just so that, you know, my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren would know a little bit about their grandmother. And, you know, probably a little bit about what it was like when I was growing up.
If your great-grandchildren and your great-great-grandchildren have a chance to see what you were like live, they virtually can get your body language, they can get your sense of humour. They'll find that you're not just a faded photo discovered in the bottom of somebody's photo album that nobody can remember very much about.
And don't forget, we've seen people land on the moon. You know, we've seen the beginning of computers. There were no computers. You know, all these things that... and even when I was growing up, they used to deliver the bread and milk by horse and cart, you know, and things like that.
And that's where we set up a band. My drums here, Buddy Richards' drums there, right next to me. And he's doing his bit and everything. And he told me what he's playing. He said, we'll do fours, which means he'll do 4 bars and I'll do 4 bars. And I was petrified because I'm sitting next to the world's greatest drummer. You can imagine.
Of course.
You know, if you were sitting right next to the world's greatest agent, you'd hesitate.
And I went, tips.
He said, do it, you know. So he did 4 and I did 4 and he did 4 and I did 4. And then he said, louder, you get louder. And he got a little bit quieter. He still looked like he was trying, but he wasn't, you know. And then he said, don't stop, keep going. So I just kept going. And he acted like he's trying to get in. So he had his drumsticks like this and he's going. And I wouldn't stop. In the end, he gets up and he goes, this kid's too good for me, and walked off. Brought the house down, you know.
Fantastic.
Everybody's saying, oh, geez, you were good, Tom. And I thought, if you only knew. Well, that was a highlight, you know.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come fly.
So yeah, he used to have so many different cars.
I didn't drink all that much. I didn't gamble on horses. So, but I love cars.
Oh yeah, he's had more cars than I've had breakfast, I think. But he always gets good cars.
Well, the philosophy was, I've always, right through my life, when things started to get a bit tough, I'd go out and buy a new car. Because it changes your demeanour. It changes your, the whole configuration changes, because firstly you're committed to another debt. And you better get your backside into gear and get out and do some work and get some new business. And it made you do it. And of course they gave you a new talking point. Everybody said, oh, Hunt's doing well, you know, he's got a brand new car. You know, I mean, it could have been the last, I could have had to twist the guy's arm to give me the lease on the thing. But the perception was I was doing well. So people tend to give you business because they think you're doing well because you're doing right. So that has been my philosophy pretty much all the way through. When things get tough, I get cracking, I buy a new car. And it changes the dynamic. And it changes my dynamic.
Pack up, let's fly away.
I know, I won't forget the Battle of Long Tan. Once again, I was the Major Communications Officer, and it was my specific job to type up all the killed in actions, and the wounded in action, of course. And it was not nice because I knew I had served with the battalions, of course, and even though I didn't know a lot of them intimately, you knew enough to say good day type of thing. And you come across these names and you go, God, I know him. He had a wife and a couple of kids. I was, once again, bloody duty officer at the task force, and the Battle of Long Tan was only a few kilometres away, of course. And one of my main roles in that battle was to keep the lines of communication open, because everybody was trying to talk at once on the various communication equipment we had. And it was one of my jobs to say, shut up, get off, just hang in there, to whoever was trying to talk to somebody if it wasn't all that important, because there was really important stuff coming in. And the gunfire, oh boy, that gunfire. Some of our barrels melted. And they were only a few metres from us. It was just horrendous, the amount of noise.
And but before this, I'd met Clive when I was up in Brisbane. I was repping up there for Dometica still.
She was selling medical parts, body parts, up north, and I was singing in a hotel called the Gazebo Hotel in Brisbane. And so I was the resident singer in the hotel.
The first night I was up there, I was with my boss, and he came over and he sang a couple of songs at the table.
And the song was Lady. I think the other song, I don't know, we surmised might have been one of my own songs.
I never tried, I fell in love with you, and you are my life.
Yeah, he was a fabulous singer, yeah. And he'd sung, you know, and he'd written a lot of his own songs, and so he sang those to me.
And I don't know whether she thought any more about it or didn't think any more about it, but anyway, she was back 2 nights later, and there's this absolutely empty restaurant. He
will tell you that the restaurant was empty, and that, you know, I sat there just so I could meet him.
And she sat down at a table by herself, right in front of me. Well, what are you meant to think? So I immediately unplugged, went over and sang her a couple of songs. And more people started coming into the restaurant, and they sort of sat down, and it turns out she was waiting for some friends to arrive. And she had to wait a long time, so she got sung to a lot.
So that's how we met.
You are everything to me.